Welcome to Curiosity on the Move, where we prove it's never too late to learn something new. I'm Lee, and I'm on a mission to try things I've always wondered about and to take you along for the ride. The world is full of skills, sports, hobbies, and adventures just waiting for curious minds like ours. And here's the bonus: learning new things isn't just fun, it's one of the best ways to keep our brains healthy and engaged as we age. So, whether you're looking for a new passion, a way to meet people, or just want to keep that mental sharpness, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about a sport you've probably seen during the Winter Olympics and thought, I can do that. We're diving into curling, the sport with stones, brooms, and considerably more strategy than it appears to have at first glance. So, why curling? Well, funnily enough, my Instagram algorithm decided that I needed to know that my area, Charleston, South Carolina, had a curling club. Most people wouldn't expect a curling club here in the South, but we do have an ice arena and apparently had a curling club. So I looked up the website, found out when they were hosting Learn to Curl sessions, and throwing caution to the wind, decided to sign up for a lesson. And I've absolutely loved it. I knew nothing about what to expect, but everyone was very welcoming, and my group was quickly integrated with experienced players. I think what appealed to me the most was that this was about strategy and precision and teamwork. It's low impact, which matters as we get older, but it's mentally challenging in ways that keep you engaged. Then there's the social aspect. After the game, teams gather together for drinks. Winners traditionally buy the first round and losers buy the second. It's called broom stacking, and it's built into the culture. Most competitive sports don't have a tradition where you're expected to sit down with your opponents afterwards and get to know them. But the accessibility of curling is what really sealed it for me. As I said, I'm here in the Charleston area, and there is a club here at the Carolina Ice Palace, and they offer Learn to Curl sessions throughout the season. Please look up their website, charlestoncurlingclub.com. And the club provides all the equipment. You just have to show up. There's no major investment required to see if it's something you enjoy. I'm so happy I signed up. I'm glad I went and tried it because now, while over the age of 50, I am a curler. To help us understand what makes this sport so compelling, I sat down with Amanda Smith, who, along with her husband Brad, founded Charleston Curling Club. I met Amanda at a local coffee shop to discuss curling terms, the equipment that's used, and what to expect in a Learn to Curl session, as well as the upcoming Olympics. Now, I will apologize in advance for the background noise. Remember, I am brand spanking new at this, so trying to control volume, edit out background noise. I'm working on it. This is a work in progress, and I hope you'll tolerate it as I go through this process. So I do apologize for all the blenders in the background and orders being called out, but people really needed their frozen lemonade. Thank you so much, Amanda, for coming and talking to me about Charleston Curling Club and curling in general. So for listeners who have never seen curling on TV or never seen it at all, can you describe what happens in a curling game?
Sure. Curling traditionally is a game played on a sheet of ice where four people on each team try to get a stone down that sheet of ice closest to a target. After the end of throwing 16 stones. And they use brooms to make the stones go further or straighter. Sometimes they can make them curl a little bit more. And there's a lot of strategy in it, a lot of thinking, and a little bit of heart rate getting raised there as well.
Perfect. And we talked about it, as you mentioned the word strategy. What does make it so strategic?
So Every stone that's thrown is followed by a stone from the other team. So you're anticipating what are they going to throw in response to your shot, and over the course of those 8 stones that you have, how can you plan out your end? You also have to think in terms of what happens if it goes wrong, because we at the club level are not throwing like the people you will be seeing in the Olympics. They are very precise. We are not as precise. So you have to think about what's the plan B, what's the plan C, and what would be the worst outcome for you if something happens that your opponent can take advantage of. So you're not just throwing that stone, you're throwing it as part of an entire set of planned outcomes.
Okay. And as we can attest, I am usually at Plan B. My Plan A never seems to work out, but I am working on it. I have only been at this for a few months, and I am very eager to learn more. So you mentioned two terms, stones and brooms. Other than that, what equipment, and can you explain what equipment you use in curling?
Sure. Well, real quickly about the stones. They are a type of granite that comes from 2 places in the world, both in Scotland, because they are not likely to break when they hit one another. The brooms are about 48 inches long. No matter how tall you are, you get a 48-inch broom. It has a highly regulated piece of nylon on the bottom that has to meet certain World Curling Federation requirements, and so that it does not scratch the ice too much, doesn't warm it up too much, is certain size, that sort of thing. All in the interest of fairness in the sport. So when you're delivering, though, you need to be able to slide down that ice. And so curling shoes have a piece of Teflon that go underneath your foot. If you don't have curling shoes, you can actually step on a piece of Teflon and step right off it. You also do that delivery starting in a hack, which is a lot like a runner's starting block. It just gives you a place that's the standard starting point. You put your non-dominant foot on it, and that gives you a chance to get some leverage on the ice.
So after talking to Amanda about the game itself, some of the mechanics, the equipment that's used, the strategy, I next turn to just some questions, practical questions about getting started, such as is there an age limit, physical requirements, or what to expect during a learn to curl session. So I joined Charleston Curling Club over the age of 50, but there's plenty of folks I have met who've come to curling at a much younger age. So I asked Amanda, what's the age range that she typically sees in new curlers, and does it matter when somebody starts?
We love having new people in the sport, and we see people coming from all age ranges. We're in the South. This is not your traditional curling center of the world, and so in general, we are not raising Olympians. Those people are starting at age 5. They come from curling families. They're in areas with a lot of curling coaching. But here we are seeing people at different stages of their life, people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, wanting to make more relationships, wanting to be more active. They see this quirky sport on TV and they want to join and see what it's like. And so it really is a sport you can start at any time. I was previously in a club where we had someone who learned to play at 87 years old. And so it really is a sport you can start at any time.
That's awesome. I would love to still be doing anything this active at 87. So, as an instructor, and as of course my instructor, what surprises most adult beginners? What do you see when they first start learning to curl?
Well, I can tell you that as an instructor, one of my first goals with new learners that first hour is to convince them that it's a sport. And many people come in thinking this is going to be so easy because of what they saw on TV, but it does require a little bit of cardiovascular for the sweeping, a little bit of strength and balance for the delivery. But the great thing is, even if you don't have that, you can curl, because we have curling delivery sticks that allow you to deliver standing up. And I have worked with people who are deaf, there are blind curlers, there are handicap curlers, and they all can play on the same teams with anybody. And the rules are set up to be inclusive. So it really is a great opportunity to get out there and just try something new, something that's going to stretch your brain.
Great. So it sounds like there really aren't any physical limitations. There's adaptive equipment that would work for anybody.
Yes.
What does a typical Learn to Curl session look like here at Charleston Curling Club?
At Charleston Curling Club, we follow very much what USA Curling suggests for introduction to curling, and that is about 2 hours on the ice. About 45 minutes are taken up just showing the new person how to deliver and how to sweep. We don't grow up pushing stones down ice, and so unlike ball sports where you grow up catching a ball, throwing a ball, it takes a little bit to learn how to do this. And also the technique on sweeping, we're focused on safety, we're making sure people are comfortable on the ice, and then we spend a little while playing two ends of the game. Ends are like innings in baseball. A normal game has 8. At the international level, it's 10. But for a new learner, 2 is about what they are going to want to do, and then go home and soak in some Epsom salts.
So, in concluding our conversation, I asked Amanda about the social and cultural side of curling, specifically about broom stacking and bonspiels, and of course, the upcoming 2026 Winter Olympics. Now, after a learned curl lesson, I know we generally head over to the penalty box here at Carolina Ice Palace and enjoy some broom stacking. Can you explain what broom stacking is, where that tradition came from, and the value of that community that it creates?
Broom stacking started at the very beginning of the sport in Scotland when they were playing on frozen lakes. Halfway through the game, they would stop, stack their brooms at the middle of the ice where their target was, and stop and have a wee dram to stay warmed up. And so they began to call this broom stacking. It's moved over time to the end of the game when there wasn't a need to warm up from being outside on the Scottish lakes, but now we do it afterwards. And this is done at every level of the sport. Kids who do broom stacking in their early days, sometimes it's called broom snacking for kids. They learn from an early age to sit down with your competitors, be nice, share nice conversation. As you become an adult, it's share a drink. The winner buys the loser around, and then the loser reciprocates. It's part of it being a polite sport, and it's absolutely integral to the spirit of the sport.
Well, it's definitely a tradition that I have enjoyed. So every year, our Charleston Curling Club hosts a bonspiel, a Krakenspiel, in July. For listeners who don't know, can you explain what a bonspiel is and why they're such a big part of curling?
Bonspiel is literally Scottish for good game. It's a chance for teams from different areas to get together and play in a competitive sense. It might be just a friendly between two different clubs, or it might be like Krakenspiel, where we have people come in from across the nation. It can be people from Canada, wherever, coming in to play against one another. It's part of that community of curling where you're going to go and play against people. You're not just confined to your one little club and town and that sort of thing. Anyone can go and play in bonspiels. Some are very fun, kind of like ours, where we have costumes and games and lots of fun going on. As you move up, they get a little more competitive. But the great thing about curling is even some of the higher level competitions are accessible to newer curlers. My husband and I have played in World Curling Federation competitions for mixed doubles, which is a two-person version of the game, simply because space was available. We didn't win a single game, but now we know curlers that we see on TV and can say we've played against them. And it's a great part of just being part of the bigger curling community.
That's awesome. And outside of Charleston, Are there opportunities for tournament play?
Yes, we're very fortunate that curling has expanded in the South dramatically. So, Raleigh Durham has Triangle Curling Club, Charlotte has Charlotte Curling, and Atlanta has two curling clubs, Atlanta Curling and Peachtree Curling. There's also two clubs that play on hockey ice like we do. That's in Wilmington, Coastal Carolina, and in Greenville, there's Palmetto Curling. Just in that small three-state region, all of these clubs, by and large, have bonspiels, hold friendlies, that sort of thing. And so you get to know one another, the people who are nearby, and you make friends and go and play in bonspiels with people you previously played against. It's great.
Lastly, I asked Amanda what to look for when watching this year's Winter Olympics.
There are two disciplines that are in the Olympics. So they will start with mixed doubles, which is where one male and one female player make up the team. We have Corey Teesey and Corey Dropkin playing for the United States. That play actually starts 2 days before the opening games. So you will have the chance to watch curling from the before the opening games all the way to the final day. After mixed doubles is done, we have the traditional four-person women's and men's competitions. You will see in the women's game, they are more strategic, more finesse, more focused on that strategy, whereas the men will tend to set up for big hits, try to make big cross house hits where the stone goes full 12 feet across the house and kind of make a big splash. I think for club level curlers, for people like us who are coming to curling as a sport later in life, I get more out of the women's game because of the finesse and the strategy. You really see it play out as opposed to I'm just going to knock a bunch of stones around, although that's a heck of a lot of fun too.
So, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking that maybe they want to try this?
Do it. Don't delay. For one, with the Olympics happening, curling clubs are going to be incredibly busy with people. So get signed up right now. So get signed up as soon as you can and get out there and learn. It is a sport much like golf in that it's easy to learn but hard to master. So you have that chance to get in on a sport that will use your mind. When I am on the ice, I don't think about anything else. The whole world goes away. And if you're the kind of person who really needs that time to be focused on something other than the world and your work and all of the stresses, curling is great for that because there's so much happening, so much about what's the next stone going to be and how do I sweep this and how is this particular line in the ice running. I have no time to think of anything else. So if that's you, jump in there.
And I will definitely attest to the just do it. I simply had seen an advertisement, didn't even know Charleston Curling Club existed, came out and did it. Now I'm a member and I love every minute of it. Before we close, is there anything else you think people should know about Charleston Curling Club that we haven't already talked about?
Sure. One thing that we've mentioned is the social aspect, the broom stacking, that sort of thing. We founded Charleston Curling to be a place where people could have friends on their own, separate from their children's social group, those parents, separate from their work, separate from their neighborhood, to where they could really just connect with other people. And that's our key piece. So there's great strategy, there's great ways to think about things, there's fantastic cardiovascular, fantastic exercise, but then there's also relationships. Going to bonspiels with people, you're going with people you like and you get to know them better. Playing here, you get to know people and develop relationships and go way beyond just spending a couple of hours on the ice. So as we get older, we want to have those deep relationships, and curling is absolutely the best sport for that.
It was such a wonderful conversation with Amanda. Again, I apologize that the noise in the background was a little much, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So, I think the biggest takeaways from what I have learned playing this game and from talking to Amanda, of course, is that this is a sport for life. You can start at any age, you can continue for decades. It's more about strategy over any sort of athleticism. Um, they have adaptive equipment if you need it. There's also a very friendly learning curve, right? This is a community that celebrates beginners. They are there to help you. Mostly for me, I enjoy the brain workout it gives me. Thinking about angles, thinking about the ice conditions, the weight of the stone, when to release, all that timing, having to think ahead about what stones are already in the house and how we're going to get certain ones out and maximize our score. It's such a neat activity for your brain. And then, of course, the social aspect, which is so important. I have created a lot of friendships. We are intergenerational for sure. Having that broom stacking afterwards and sharing all our stories and plans for the future, it's indescribable. So, in closing, I think you should try something new. This was something entirely new for me. I've been at it a little less than a year now, and it is something I truly enjoy. And I hope I have encouraged you to go out and do it yourself. I have managed to convince a few of my workmates to try it. We did it as a corporate event once and hopefully managed to get one or two hooked on it as well. It's accessible. It's most places have local ice rinks. Charleston has our one. Some places are going to have dedicated ice, as Amanda discussed during the interview. But I definitely encourage you to go seek out Charleston Curling Club on their Instagram. They have a website. There are upcoming Learn to Curl sessions starting at the end of February, goes into March. They will be able to announce more dates as the Carolina Ice Palace releases those. Of course, the Olympics, please. The Olympics are coming up, as she mentioned. It's going to start out with the mixed doubles. That starts on February 4th. The Olympics officially start on the 6th, but there will be some sort of a curling event every single day. And I want to give a huge shout out to Amanda for not only being my curling instructor, but also my guinea pig. This was my very first interview. I'm learning as I go along. I appreciate her tolerance of my questions and in my amateurish way. And if you're interested in watching amateur curling, I am taking part in a 5U curling tournament at the end of February, the last weekend of February in Durham, North Carolina at the Triangle Curling Club. You can find all their videos on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all. Any feedback is most welcome as I am just starting this out. It's going to take me a while, I'm sure, but as I am learning new things, I am also learning how to podcast, edit audio, and all the rest. So I will not take it as long as it's constructive criticism. Don't be mean. But please, I would greatly appreciate your feedback.